Have you ever felt like you weren't alone, even when you were? This is a story that still sends chills down the spines of people in New Orleans, a city already steeped in mystery and the supernatural. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers are the ones you can't see, and help can come from the most unexpected and terrifying of places. Our story begins with a woman named Sarah. She was a dedicated nurse, working the grueling late shift at a downtown New Orleans hospital. Her nights were a blur of beeping machines, hushed conversations, and the constant underlying hum of life and death. The work was draining, but she was good at it. The real challenge often came after her shift ended, during the long, lonely drive home in the dead of night. One particular Tuesday, or maybe it was Wednesday morning, the city was shrouded in a thick, damp fog that clung to the empty streets. The kind of fog that swallows sound and makes the world feel small and claustrophobic. The streetlights cast hazy, ethereal halos, barely piercing the gloom. Sarah was exhausted. Her eyelids felt heavy, and her mind was a jumble of patient charts and medical jargon. She just wanted to get home, crawl into bed, and forget the world for a few hours. She steered her old sedan through the deserted streets, the rhythmic thump-thump of the windshield wipers, the only sound breaking the silence. She glanced up at her rear-view mirror, a force of habit for any late-night driver. But what she saw made her heart leap into her throat. In the pitch black of her back seat, 2 points of light seemed to hover in the darkness. They weren't reflections. They were eyes, luminous, pale, and staring directly at her. A jolt of pure adrenaline shot through her, instantly erasing her fatigue. Without a second thought, she slammed her foot on the brakes. The car screeched, tires protesting against the wet asphalt as it jerked to a violent halt. Her own body was thrown forward against the seatbelt. Heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird, she whipped her head around to confront whatever was in her car. The back seat was empty, completely, utterly empty. The worn fabric of the seats stared back at her, silent and still. There was nothing there, no glowing eyes, no person, no animal, nothing. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Was she going crazy? It had to be the exhaustion. The long hours, the stress, the flickering streetlights playing tricks on her tired mind. That had to be it. She tried to laugh it off, a nervous, shaky sound that did little to calm her frayed nerves. She was just seeing things. She took a few deep breaths, told herself to get a grip, and cautiously started driving again, though her eyes kept darting back to the rearview mirror for the rest of the drive home. The next night, the shift was just as demanding. As Sarah walked to her car in the dimly lit hospital parking garage, a sense of dread washed over her. She tried to shake it off, telling herself it was just the memory of the previous night's hallucination. But the feeling persisted, a cold knot in the pit of her stomach. The drive home began much the same. The streets were just as empty, the air just as heavy. She forced herself to focus on the road, on the familiar route she had driven 1,000 times before. She refused to look in the rearview mirror this time, gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. But you can't ignore a presence you can feel. The air in the car grew thick and cold, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. Then a voice, a soft, ethereal whisper that seemed to come from directly behind her head, from the back seat she was so desperately trying to ignore. It was a woman's voice, calm and clear, yet it carried an otherworldly echo that made Sarah's blood run cold. "Don't be afraid," the voice whispered. Sarah froze. This wasn't in her head. This was real. Her mind raced, trying to process what was happening. Was this a ghost, a spirit in her own car? She wanted to scream, to pull over and run, but she was paralyzed by a mixture of terror and a strange, inexplicable sense of calm that the voice seemed to project. The whisper came again, a little more urgent this time. "I'm here to warn you." Warn her. Warn her about what? The road was clear. There was no one around. The ghost in her back seat was the most dangerous thing she could imagine at that moment. And then the voice delivered a message that would haunt Sarah for the rest of her life. There is a man with a knife hiding in your car. He's on the floor of the passenger seat. Don't look, don't react, just keep driving. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. A man with a knife? In her car right now? The space just inches from her in the passenger footwell she couldn't see in the dark suddenly felt like a venomous pit. Every instinct screamed at her to look, to confirm the horrifying truth, but the ghostly voice was insistent in its command. Don't look! Her hands started to tremble, but she kept them locked on the wheel. She could feel the man's presence now, a terrifying weight in the small space of her car. She could almost imagine his breath, his readiness to attack. The only thing standing between her and a gruesome death was the disembodied voice of a ghost. "Drive to the nearest police station," the voice instructed, its calm tone a stark contrast to the chaos erupting inside Sarah's mind. "Do it now. Do not go home. Do not stop. Just drive." With a surge of newfound purpose, Sarah followed the instruction. She signaled, her movements stiff and robotic, and turned at the next corner, heading toward the police precinct that was, thankfully, only a few blocks away. Every second felt like an eternity. She kept her eyes glued to the road, her breathing shallow, praying the man wouldn't realize what she was doing. She could feel the ghost's presence fade as she neared the station, as if its mission was complete. She pulled into the police station's emergency zone, leaving the car running, and burst out of the driver's side door, sprinting toward the entrance and screaming for help. Officers rushed out, bewildered by the hysterical nurse. After she managed to stammer out her terrifying story, they approached the car with caution, weapons drawn. They opened the passenger door, and there, just as the ghost had warned, was a man. He was curled into a tight ball in the passenger footwell, a large, gleaming knife clutched in his hand. He had been waiting for her to get home, to park in her quiet, secluded driveway before making his move. The story of the nurse and her ghostly guardian angel became an instant legend in New Orleans. Who was the spirit in the back seat? Some say it was the ghost of a previous victim of the same attacker, a soul bound to the world, seeking to prevent another tragedy. Others believe it was one of Sarah's former patients, a grateful spirit, returning to repay the kindness she had shown them in their final moments. We'll never know for sure. But Sarah knows one thing. She owes her life to the glowing eyes and the whispered warning from her mysterious backseat passenger. It's a powerful reminder that in a world full of unseen dangers, there might also be unseen protectors watching over us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.